Steve Siebold back with publicspeakersblog.com. Well, I hope you're staying safe and you're social distancing and you're doing all these crazy things in the new world. I want to talk to you for a second about 2020. Bottom line, conventions are done. The speaking business is canceled for 2020. There's no way major corporations are going to expose themselves to the legal liability of bringing their employees into a big meeting. They may have very, very small meetings. So if you're a consultant or you do very small meetings with less than 10 people, you might still be able to work there. But big conventions are done for this year, probably 2021. Who knows, right? But the liability piece, say that you work for a company and you get coronavirus at the convention, and every ambulance chaser is going to be chasing you down to sue the company for everything they have. And those lawsuits will go through, they'll settle, and the companies will lose millions of dollars. They know that. Big companies, I've worked for them for 23 years as a speaker and a consultant, and they know better. They're far too smart to risk the millions and millions of dollars in lawsuits, not to mention, of course, the health of their people. So it's done for 2020. So that's the bad news. Good news is, what can you do? I'm getting calls from speakers every single day, emails from speakers freaking out because, as I said in one of my last posts, most speakers have a career. They have basically a job, a high-paid job as a speaker, but if they're not speaking, they're not making money. And this is a very, very bad business model that most speakers fall into. It's probably 90% plus speakers. And when I was chairman of the $1 Million Speakers Group at National Speakers Association, we talked about this all the time. In almost everyone in that group, there were a few people that just did speeches, but there were very, very few. Doing $1 million, which was the minimum you had to do every year to be in that group, is a lot. That's a lot in keynote speaking. You have to be charging a pretty good amount and traveling a lot and all that. Well, now that business is over for this year. So those guys are now in a lot of trouble. They're making decent money, but the people that really make money in this business, like the $1 Million Speakers Group, those people are very savvy business people. They have a business, not just a speaking career. So that's that. Certainly watch that post if you didn't watch it about building a business and not a career. Because like right now, obviously all my keynote speeches, like everyone else's, are canceled. We're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in booked speeches for the rest of the year. We own Georgia Speakers Bureau. We are shutting down the Speakers Bureau. We're looking very closely at doing that because there's no meetings. And so there's no point in having that. So we're going to lose hundreds of thousands of more dollars on that. But the good news is that we've got a multidimensional, multifaceted business, and a couple of our businesses are doing really well just because they're mostly online and that type of thing. So here are my recommendations for this time, this crazy time of conventions being canceled. We'll probably never see this in any of our lifetimes. Hopefully we won't. But here's what I recommend. One, make sure you take this time between now and the end of this year. You know, we've got 8 months till the end of the year to really build up your keynote speaking skills. What does that really mean? Entertainment. How entertaining can you be? Work on your stories, work on your vignettes, work on your EPMs, your LPMs, all those things. Do as much rehearsal as you can. Read books on humor, funny stories, take online courses, whatever you can possibly do. Work on your stage skills. Most speakers don't spend a lot of time doing that, and it's a real weak spot. Number two, work on your marketing, especially online, because that's where all the marketing is going. If you believe in direct mail marketing, if you use that for your speaking business or your speaking career, I'd recommend working on that. Build up your marketing skills. Number three, make sure that you have some of your revenue, if you don't right now, online. Obviously, I don't have to explain why, because we're all sitting at home, including me. I'm working out of the house like everybody else now. And so make sure that at least 30 or 40% of your revenue can be made online. And if you have zero revenue right now, you've got 8 months to figure it out. Go take some of these courses on Udemy. I take these courses on Udemy. If you're not familiar, udemy.com. You can get the courses for like $10. It's ridiculous. And you can learn all these new online marketing skills and do that. Be ready for the next shutdown, because we're probably going to have another one maybe, in the fall or next year. Who knows? And if we don't, that's great. But prepare yourself for the future. A lot of people that are probably ahead of you in speaking won't do these things. I'm talking to speakers all the time, and all they keep telling me is they're frozen. They're frozen. I said, well, here's my recommendation. You better get unfrozen and start moving, because this is not going away tomorrow. As much as the politicians in Washington and a lot of other people want to say, oh, everything's going to open back up and everything, don't you bet on it. Prepare for the worst. Hey, I hope I'm wrong, but I wouldn't bet on this is going to be around for a while. These viruses don't just go away. And so I won't get into the whole thing about that. But listen to the scientists. Forget the crazy politicians on either side of the aisle, right? Because they're selling us a bill of goods. The scientists don't have anything to really sell. I'd listen to them more than anybody else. But bottom line is, take this time to prepare yourself. And this could be the year that looked like the worst year. That could be your real preparation year in the speaking business. And again, if you just have a career, you're just thinking speech fees, please watch that post I did a few days back on building it's the number one fatal mistake that speakers make. When I was chairman of the National Speakers Association's $1 Million Speakers Group, it's the most powerful group of speakers in the world, the richest group of speakers, non-celebrity speakers in the world. And that was the thing we talked about all the time, that all of us have multiple streams of income. So when you experience a great recession like we did 10 years ago, or a shutdown, which none of us have ever experienced before, or some crazy thing, you have money coming in no matter what, whether you're sleeping or you're speaking. That is very, very important, and very few speakers do it. I mean, guys, there's 5,000 members of the National Speakers Association, at least there were, worldwide. And when I chaired the $1 Million Speakers Group, we had 39 people qualify, at least $1 million a year in speaking-related income, or at least $1 million a year in speaking related income. And we had 39 people qualify. I think last year we had 61 people, something like that, out of 5,000 people. That's insane. That's because most people don't understand this business. They can speak, some are pretty good speakers, but they just they don't understand the business side. So work on your marketing, work on your speaking skills, work on online revenue, and this could be, really could be, honestly, the best year, the year you built a real engine for your speaking business that could last the rest of your life. Something to think about. So stay safe, stay distance, and I'll see you on the next post. Thanks for watching.